What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things, MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong, history. And we good on that, put Jilla on the track and we good on whack. 3, 2, 1, everybody say Bulls on tap, Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty, Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery, nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news, go and subscribe. Hang out with Buzzy and Goose, tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, aka Bulls Scripted. We're here after a international win. The Bulls win. We haven't been here in a couple days because the Bulls traveled to Paris, France, if you didn't know, and they beat the Detroit Pistons. What a game to pick, huh? Like, you're French, and you're like, I got to go watch Detroit. That's why I named the episode The Pistons Still Suck, Even in Paris. I'm sorry. I know it's a little abrasive, but hey, that's what I do here. Before we get into this one, be sure going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet, following Goose at Bulls Scripted, and me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review because that's cool and tough. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, please go to the YouTube, subscribe to the On Tap Sportsnet YouTube channel, hit the little bell. Anytime we go live or any other On Tap show goes live, you'll be notified, and that's awesome. Also, we are presented by Sports Illustrated Media Group. Goose, 126-108. Pretty much took control of the game from the beginning and never really let it go.
Yeah, took control of the game from the start. Vooch started off really hot. I believe he scored or assisted on the first 7 points before we got a DeMar tomahawk leading to an early Detroit timeout. Couple moments in the third where you went, uh-oh, we're not doing this, are we? But scathed those kind of scares and kind of rode this one easily. Which is nice to see given our track record against teams with poor records. Nice to see us handle business overseas.
Yeah, it really was. And like the Bulls did a really good job at documenting everything over there on the Chicago Bulls Twitter, even the website. Like Derek Jones Jr. proposed to his girlfriend over there. A lot of awesome pictures were taken. Joakim Noah's in town. Luol Deng was there.
Congrats, Airplane Mode. Had a great game tonight. We did not see Andre Drummond, which meant we got a pretty heavy dose of DJJ at the small ball 5. And dude was putting on a dunk show for the fans in Paris there.
He was the only person who didn't play on the roster. Andre Drummond was the only guy as a DNP.
Did he have like too much wine? And Billy was like, all right, we're just going to save face for you. You look a little rough, or like what? What's the story there? I mean, I guess the Pistons don't have too many big guys. Obviously, they have the rookie Duren, who was dunking all the same on us tonight. But to completely not even like in garbage time get Drummond some minutes.
Yeah, I was shocked by it too.
It was interesting, especially because this is the team that drafted him. He's playing his ex-team where it all started for him. And Billy does not give him the call. So
is that shoulder, you think, still bothering him? Does that have anything to do with it? I don't know. I mean,
I'd like to think that would be the case. Just for like the fact that I stated, you're playing the guy's original team that drafted him. It usually in those
moved on from him too.
Yeah, and usually in those scenarios, you get a little extra oomph from said player in that situation. So to see him not get any burn tonight was kind of peculiar. Maybe we'll get some explanation into that in the post game. But we did have DeMar DeRozan return tonight, which was big. Nice to see the Bulls kind of share the love throughout the team. I believe Zach and DeMar both had over 25. With Vooch's hot start, how many points did he finish with tonight?
He only finished with 16 on 8 of 19 shooting, but he had 16 points, and he was the anchor that really got everything going at first. Initiating the offense, like you said, he assisted on or scored on the first 7 to 9 points, I believe it was, or whatever. But he had 16 points, 15 boards, 6 assists, 1 steal for Vooch tonight. 0 for 5 from downtown, though, for him. Zach, 20 shots, 10 of 20. 2 for 6 from downtown, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. He finishes with 30 points, a team best plus 19. He had 30 points, 4 assists, 5 boards, 1 steal, 1 block. And then DeMar DeRozan, 26 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. If there's one thing the Bulls really started this game off well, it was the ball movement. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic.
The game was almost at some points a little bit too much with the ball movement, making the extra pass maybe one too many times and turning down a couple of good looks. But we'll take that problem over the my turn, your turn, more ISO dominant kind of style of play. But never going to complain too loudly about making too many passes.
No, absolutely not. No, the ball moved. The shots were going in at one point. To start the game off, Bulls were pretty hot, getting to the rim, doing what they had to do. Shot very, very poorly from 3 tonight. 7 for 23 tonight for the Bulls, 30%, but 50 for 92 from the field, though. So the 54%. Detroit, 39 for 97 for 40% from the field, and 8 for 34 from downtown. Bulls hit 19 out of their 21 free throws. Pistons hit 22 out of their 27 free throws.
Pretty poor shooting night for both teams all around.
And Bulls were actually out-rebounded, too. Yeah, and out-assisted.
I wonder if that happens if Andre Drummond plays.
Yeah, I doubt it. But, hey, I'm cool with it because I like seeing DJJ get the minutes. He was very exciting tonight. That small ball 5 is really working out. But I got to break away here for a minute because we're going to talk about Io and Pat because they did play good games, effective games, for sure. When those two seem to play well along with the other guys, oh, no shit, Buzz. When the team plays well, they win. But you know what I'm saying? Like that, it just seems like it's – I'm not going to say 10 points on 4 or 6 shooting is like the greatest thing that ever happened. 6 for 8 for 13 points, same thing. It's not like the greatest thing that ever happened. But when those guys are effective and they're playing defense like they did tonight too, Pat had a really, really great defensive sequence in the third quarter where he was closing out, and I believe it was on Sadiq Bey, and Sadiq Bey went for the pump fake, and Pat stood his ground. And I really liked that out of him. I thought that was good. I thought Io was all over the place, but I do want to bring up Detroit. Listen, man, this Jalen Duren is going to be good. I see it now. He's going to be good. Jaden Ivey is good now. He's just going to get better, and he looks like a pretty hungry kid. Cade Cunningham is hurt. We saw what he did last year. He's an effective player. If this fucking team gets Wembanyama with those 4 guys, like add to those 3 guys, I'm not fucking with you, dude. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
No, that's what's scary about all these young teams that are beating us now is they already have these young cores somewhat established with future stars scattered throughout their rosters, and they still have the opportunity to add to that on top of the fact of having these flashes throughout the season. And obviously, as Bulls fans that are just coming somewhat still freshly off of a rebuild, it hurts to see all these young teams that are having the success with their rebuild that we kind of had to trade out of and accelerate the process to get to the stage that we're at now. And you saw the report from Collie that just about everybody but Caruso might be available at the deadline, which had some people shaking their heads quite a bit. But you also had Zach LaVine say pregame that, we all like each other here and we know what's at stake. So maybe a trip like this overseas, kind of a bonding group, reestablish, reground yourselves, remember what you're playing for and why you play 4 quarters instead of 2 every night. Maybe we do see a change going forward here, and obviously don't want to underplay the return of DeMar. Obviously, after a couple of games out, we were starting to wonder if it was more of a serious injury that we weren't getting more information on, because that tends to be a trend with our Chicago teams, especially the Bulls, that a day-to-day injury turns into a season-ending injury before you know it. So to see DeMar come back was key, but overall to kind of see them laughing and smiling and having a great time on this trip could bode really well for the rest of this easy, quotes, schedule here, and we might have to drink some pickle juice.
I'm okay with that if they start fucking winning, like I'm all right with it. This team is just confusing to me, but I will say the changes that I'm starting to see, Caruso's not really been getting anything over 25 minutes. Okay. He comes in, he provides that spark, and we've talked about this a million times off air, on it, whatever. but he provides that defensive spark, that hustle that you want off the bench. Then you bring in a guy like Kobe, who's playing more of a complete game now. I wish his scoring would be up just for bench scoring purposes.
Hey, tonight, though, had the first 8 points in the fourth quarter for the Bulls. Right. Kind of stopped a little bit of a run by Detroit. And despite his streaky shooting, he does seem to find the touch when this team needs it most in the fourth quarter for timely threes.
I really liked the rotation and then bringing in Derek Jones Jr. like they did. I mean, basically they went heavy 9-man rotation tonight, and it was Derek Jones Jr., Dragic, Kobe, and Caruso along with the starters. So you ran a 9-man rotation tonight, and I'm going to have to get with Drew because Drew's really good at doing all this stuff, like running the numbers and all that noise for different lineups. But that lineup has to be effective. I mean, even when Dragic
with DJJ.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously you don't want to do that against a team like with fucking Joel Embiid on it.
Well, or a team like the Cavaliers that just has an abundance of size.
Yeah, just he showed up. Look at him. Look at him. He fucking showed. He showed the fuck up here. Here he is. Chi Sports fans in the building.
But no, in terms of the last 2 games, we've seen really good effectiveness with the lineup against Golden State and then Detroit tonight. And obviously it is a more situational lineup, but Billy does seem to have found something with it, especially for a team that prides itself on getting in the passing lanes and getting, going the other way before the opposing defense can get set. I think DJJ plays well into all that. He is an above average rebounder for a forward, obviously having to play out of position there, but we can't talk enough about his standing jump and just all of his abilities when it comes to the aggressiveness. So you can get away with playing him at the 5 against certain teams, and it really lets the Bulls play the way that they play best, which is weird to say because we also play best when we play through Vooch. And obviously if DJJ is at the 5, that means Vooch is getting a breather.
Yeah, and that's so funny you bring that up too about Vooch and playing through him. I had to put the rub out there the other day, dude. Like, everybody who is blaming Vooch, I know we talked about this on Sunday after they beat Golden State or whatever, but, like, that dude is so fucking good, and he's so underappreciated. And could you imagine if he had a couple more shooters around him?
No, I mean...
Like, legitimate, like, I like having DeMar DeRozan here. We've talked about that. But what if you had a caliber, maybe a little bit less effective than DeMar DeRozan, but a shooter alongside Zach LaVine who would rather penetrate?
You mean like Cam Reddish?
Okay. I like Cam Reddish, but I'm not going to put him in a tier below. I'm going to put him in like a couple tiers below.
He's well tiers below, but if you're talking about a stationary shooter who you just want posted on the perimeter, obviously you're going to get more spacing and shoot opportunities with a Reddish on the wing as opposed to DeMar.
But I feel like even though he shot 8 for 19 tonight, I feel like he, in the last 3 to 4 games, I mean, even this month, he's really found a stride on what he needs to be doing. Like even in those games that
that him finding a stride, or is that Billy finally kind of tailoring the offense to give him the opportunity?
If it took that long for Billy Donovan to fucking tailor the offense with professionals, then I'm gonna, and I'm a big Billy guy. I'd be very irritated at that you fell in a 21 and 24 hole. I'd be pretty pissed off about that, honestly.
Especially when he ran it back minus Zoe.
Right. So, I mean, I'd be very irritated about that if that was the adjustments that were just made right now. Like I said, I feel like Vooch he's playing well. He's scoring the rock.
So extension in the offseason?
You see, that's the thing. I saw somebody post something about that, dude. And I can't remember what it was. It was on Twitter. But like they were kind of throwing out the money he might be looking for. I don't know what kind of money he's in. If he's looking for big money, I wouldn't do it. And I know people will hate that because of all that we gave up for him. But I'm like, yes, we beat Detroit. Okay? Like, and it was on a global scale. It was in Paris. I'm happy that they did it. I'm happy they won because it was fun. We're fucking watching thunder dunks across the fucking game from Derek Jones Jr. Zach threw a couple. I mean, it was great. It's fun. But I'm still in the realistic mode that I'm in. I got a dude in my mentions right now, and I'm not going to put him on blast because I don't do that. But he's sitting there, well, what about Pat Williams? What do you mean you're 4 for 6, dude? Get the fuck out of my face. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I want Pat doing more. I want Pat taking advantage more instead of turning the ball over and passing it to DeMar, where he caused 2 DeMar turnovers tonight, Patrick Williams did, by throwing him the ball with the fucking clock running down. Like, you know, it's just get off of me about Patrick Williams. I know my take was not liked by a lot of people, but my God, like, I'm still not sold on the team in general, but I will speak when I like something, and I think Vooch has been playing fucking great. And I see that he got called Charmin soft here in the comments by Hank. God damn, Hank, he came in through a fucking left. He didn't even say hi first. He just came in and threw a punch.
Haymaker. Well, he's in Europe. No, I mean, the Vooch situation is very peculiar because if you don't extend Vooch, you're sending the message to DeMar that this window is closing and about done too.
Well, did you see that too? That DeMar is going to be looking for a max extension at the end of this season. We have it blocked up till the end of next season, but he wants a max extension at the end of this season. Look, I like DeMar. I'm not fucking paying you $41 million when you're 37 years old. I'm 31 and I feel like shit every day. I wouldn't invest in me either.
You know, and I've seen comments on how DeMar's game is timeless. And no, that mid-range game and the attacking the rim and taking the abuse and hitting the ground every other shot is not something that I think plays well into durability. So to kind of, I would prefer an extension to Vooch. I don't want a max extension to either of them. I think that puts you in salary cap hell, and you're looking at a Russell Westbrook contract situation where you got to attach assets.
Assets that we don't have.
Assets we don't have to dump contracts you don't want anymore. Because as much as me and you will both agree that DeMar has well outplayed the contract that he has received.
He did that in year one.
Yeah, no, he earned all 3 years of his deal in year one. And there's no doubt in my mind that to him, he definitely deserves a contract. But in terms of a business decision for the Chicago Bulls, unless Vucevic is looking for a 20 to 25 million kind of extension for 2 years kind of thing, 3 years, team option, you know, I don't know that I'm willing to go that much deeper into this current project. As much fun as it is when they play right and your supporting cast like Io and Pat shoot effectively from the floor and put you in a good position to win the game with 20 plus points and having the ability to have one of your three guys go off for 40 plus. There's not many teams that say that they can have that, but you have that and you still don't feel like you're in the top tier. And to invest more heavily into that just doesn't make logical sense.
Right, and that's where you get into the drawing board, and you're like, "What do we do here when it comes to that?" Because I'm on this right now. Like, you can't, if you keep Vooch, one of Zach or DeMar have to go, and I think we kind of know that already. But that's the honest to God truth. I think one of Zach or DeMar have to go anyway. But if you do decide to keep Vooch, I would probably personally, I'd rather have the guy that can shoot 38% from three to 40% on high volume. And you know, I'm not saying I'm not a big Zach guy. He wasn't my top five and you yelled at me, but I don't want to get yelled at again. I was embarrassed.
We're going to yell at you.
Yeah,
especially because the graphic tonight said that Zach LaVine has 7 games of 25 plus points cooking currently. So
yeah, he's been actually on fire. So if you want to, it's actually really funny. I was looking at this. So the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the last 7 games, 6 of them, LaVine's been the leading scorer. Obviously, we're missing DeRozan there for a minute.
And the one that he wasn't, Vooch had
43, tied a career high against Golden State. You know, like I said,
no. If you plan on extending Vucevic, I think you do have to look into trading DeMar for the ransom that you can get while you still have, you know, a year and a half on his contract. Because as much as I love DeMar, and I wish that we were able to grab him earlier, like if he never had to go to San Antonio,
right? That could have been a thing in his late 20s.
Exactly. Then you know you're invested in a guy and you're making him a franchise guy. But unfortunately, when you got DeMar, you were getting a short-term mercenary to be a contender and to get Zach to sign on that dotted line and show him that you will be aggressive when it's there to put the pieces in play to be a contending team and put yourself in that conversation. Zach signed on the dotted line. And in terms of the players that would work the best together, pick and pop isn't really a thing with DeMar and Vooch as much as it is Zach and Vooch. And that's probably the most effective play in the game at this point in time. So to go with the older player who as much as we don't want to face it, DeMar doesn't want to face it, Father Time is going to catch up at some point. It just Zach and Vooch makes a lot more sense, and I think Vooch's game has more longevity to it than DeMar's does.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's tough too. I mean, that's even a debate. You know, I mean, DeMar could be like that. I know this is kind of a weird equivalent, but I could use it here. DeMar just kind of strikes me sometimes as like, I think there will be a decline coming. Not this year, obviously. He's still doing his thing, whatever. But he's never really done this in his career like he's doing now. But and I look at a guy like Jose Abreu from the Sox who kept getting older and he kept doing the same shit. And it was just like, oh my God, he keeps doing it. Like
another stat that I saw, I forgot how many years it's been over, but DeMar DeRozan has played more basketball games than anybody in the league in the last few years.
This is tonight was DeMar's 999th game in the NBA. In the regular season.
Yeah, so regular season, almost at 1,000 games in his career, and in the last 3 to 5 years, like I said, I don't remember the exact number, but he has played more games than anybody else. And obviously, when you're looking to give a guy a contract, that durability speaks well for him, right. And it should give you confidence in that. But for me, at this stage of his career, to have that many miles and to play so consistently, and like I said, he does take a beating almost every game, because he is such a G, and like you don't question if he's hurt. But there's a lot of times where he falls, and with our PTSD as Chicago fans, is he going to get up?
Right. Yeah. No. That's
for the first time 4 games ago, he didn't. Well, he did get up, but he didn't finish the game.
Right.
And that was kind of just a fluke play where he tripped going into one of his hezzies, and you lost him. So I would gladly have a heavy debate with you that Vooch as a center, with his game not being dependent on athleticism at all, not really being dependent on getting to the free throw line, not having to initiate contact in that way while you're leaving the ground. I think Vooch, in terms of longevity, I would feel more confident in giving him a multi-year extension than I would DeMar on top of the year and a half that we still have left.
I agree with you on giving Vooch. I'm not doing a max. I couldn't do a max for DeMar. I love DeMar. I can't. He's gonna be 37 years old. Like, I can't do it. Like, I just.
You're not LeBron James. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Right, and that's another thing. That David Aldridge report. That
was that a legitimately sourced thing? Like David Aldridge?
No. It wasn't like this is what they're looking at, because LeBron can't be traded this year. But I put the fucking tweet out because that page used to be pretty good, and now it's really clickbaity. So I decided just to write an article and just kind of shit on it.
Okay.
Because
I thought you were still too nice.
That was nice. I'm always nice.
If that was literally a quote from an article from David Aldridge, somebody who is pretty prominent in the NBA media.
I love me some David Aldridge.
If that is legitimate, in that 50% probability quote is there, I'm wondering where he's getting that intel. Because LeBron,
you think there's something to it?
I mean, LeBron had that mini slip up in the media where he said, you guys know what the fuck should be happening in regards to their roster. Meaning, I'm at the end of my career. It's all or nothing wherever I go. And then he had to kind of take a step back and reiterate that, no, I plan on finishing my contract that I just got another extension on in LA, that I plan on being here to finish my career. I don't see... It just doesn't make sense, especially if you got to gut the whole team to go get LeBron, and like he's not competitive with Anthony Davis right now. Like,
that's why I put my art. He's not competing. When Anthony Davis was healthy, they were still not doing anything, and they arguably have the 6th man of the year coming off of their bench. And they're still not doing anything. Like, I'm not
for a money hungry ownership like the Bulls. I could see where it would be advantageous to get LeBron, because you're going to sell out every night, and if you sneak into the playoffs, you're going to have the loudest building you've had since the Rose days. But still, I don't know. This take has always been controversial. I never wanted LeBron during the Rose era. I didn't.
Okay, hang on, because we never talked about this. So when in 2010, when he did the decision, you didn't want him on the Bulls at that time. You didn't like him then, or you just didn't want him for
I have never been a if you can't beat them, join them person. I want to beat the best. The rivalry that was in place, the feel that I got when I played LeBron with a team that was competitive.
So like the Central Division Bulls Cavs thing.
Yes, felt way better to me than the easy way out. And maybe if you have LeBron, Rose doesn't get the wear and tear. He never has the injury. And obviously,
even if Rose didn't take that jump, though, because we didn't. I mean, listen, when Rose came out in his first year, he averaged 16 points and like 6 assists a game. He won Rookie of the Year. And if you remember at the time, it was really controversial decision because OJ Mayo in Memphis was fucking balling. He was almost averaging 20 points a game over there at that time. Then Derrick Rose's second year, he jumps up to 20 points a game, kind of kept the assists the same, first-time All-Star. That's the third year at Media Day is when he did the why can't I be MVP thing. And that's after LeBron had joined the Heat. So, before that, like a month and a half before that is when LeBron committed to Miami. I'm not going to lie to you. I remember exactly where I was during the decision. I'm like, get the fuck here because I want to win. I don't give a shit. I didn't know Derrick Rose was going to make a jump like he did. That 2010-2011 season was absolutely magical. I watched every fucking game. Like, he was the best. I don't care what anybody says. Percentage-wise, you could suck it. I don't care what you say. Derrick Rose was the best fucking player in the world that year and led them to a 62-20 record. But I can't help but think Rose, Wade, LeBron, Noah. Throw Taji. Come play the four, Taj. I'm good.
We're talking dynasty. I think that would have been better than the Heat. Especially because, like I said, I think that would probably put Rose in a situation where he doesn't have the injury that he has. He probably doesn't have to put the wear and tear and play as ferocious as he did. But no, I don't want LeBron now. I didn't want LeBron then.
I don't really want LeBron now, but I will tell you one thing. I'd be a liar to you if I wasn't intrigued, and I'll kick the tires on the idea and think about it. Because if Zoe was healthy, which he's not, and we kept Zach, and you were somehow able to keep Vooch with that proposed trade deal that they showed, again, the proposed trade deal doesn't fucking work. But
you know who I want before LeBron?
Who's that?
Carmelo Anthony. I think it is sad how that man's departure has gone from the league. He deserves a farewell tour. You wouldn't have to trade anything for him either. Just call him up.
Hey, man. I mean,
call him up, send Marco or Tony on their way, and let Carmelo join the squad.
I'm fine with that if we made a playoff run for 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
I'm not even fucking with you. I mean, I'd be all right with that. I wouldn't say I'd rather have him
I need an updated Hoodie Mellow video in the gym.
This is fucked up. You're just being petty. You're just being petty, man. I've never seen you get petty like that. You said the fucking Carmelo over LeBron right now.
Yep.
No, I can't.
No, I mean, obviously.
I know you're fucking around.
In terms of the value, that there's
one
that's logical and doable, and the other one.
I just thought it was so funny. Like I'm scrolling through. I never even go
okay.
On
So here's a fun question: do you take that report more at face value, or Cowley's report of the whole team but Caruso is available?
Cowley's my friend.
Which report has more legitimacy to it? LeBron James to Chicago, or everyone's available but Caruso?
Joe Cowley is my friend. So I will stick by Joe Cowley and say that everybody's available.
And our buddy Salim, who's very prominent on Bulls Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I like Salim a lot. Salim's a good guy.
Had made a comment about Joe, and it was a little bit of a slight towards Joe. And I said, you know what? Joe is in another country with just about every single person that has anything to do with this organization right now. If you were going to get a link of information, it is at a wine tasting in Paris.
I was about to say they're drinking some wine, they're eating some fucking weird caviar shit, and
getting loose and just letting it flow. So it was a little bit too much to not be coincidental for me. And when you break it down with where this Bulls team is, if you're going to cash out on these veteran stars, you kind of have to do it now. It's not as dire as the Jimmy Butler situation ever was. But if you're going to get value back for these guys, the time is now. I suppose you could get value for Vooch in a sign and trade.
I think you can get a ton of value for that. I think you can get a ton of value for Zach because he's showing, after the knee thing, look what he's doing. Look at the numbers he's put up the last 2 months. You get a ton of value for Zach. And I will say one thing to you. And I'm not going to say whether I think it's fucking true or not, but if someone said that the only untouchable is Alex Caruso, and that was from a front, AK should be, literally, they should be fought. We should walk them out now.
So, but when you say untouchable, you got to think about it in terms of this. What value are you going to get for Caruso? A late first? Team isn't giving you.
I think you can get a young fucking prospect from a good team.
Okay, so we talked about James Wiseman previously. I did a little bit of.
They said he's off the trade market. Did you see that report?
So maybe that's Bulls posturing. Steve Kerr, you want Alex Caruso that bad?
He's untouchable.
He's untouchable. I think the term untouchable in Caruso's case leans more into you're not going to be able to offer me enough for the contract that this guy is on. And if I am gutting a team completely and I'm keeping one guy, not saying that if I could pick any player in the league, that's who I'm building a team around. But from a leadership standpoint, what Caruso does, the demeanor he brings, the way he carries himself, the way he would be with a young team, that's a vet. That's a guy that I would keep, especially at the price that they have him. If you're offering me a late first, I don't need a 20s in the 20s, pick for Alex Caruso. I ain't getting the value there. I'd rather have him for 2.5 more years.
I can't believe you right now.
So no, unless you are offering me a crazy flyer on a James Wiseman, or we're talking Kuminga, if you're giving me a legitimate prospect that you just don't feel fits your timeline for Caruso because you're a contender, cool. Then Caruso can lose his untouchable tag.
I love me some 4-steal Alex Caruso, but if Kirk Heinrich got traded, so can Alex Caruso. And Kirk Heinrich gave them more all the time. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like if he was considered untouchable, and that was even
I think untouchable's a loose term, and it's being used in the sense that
I'm using the word that was used.
You're using the word. Okay, fair.
I am using the word that was used. If I love Alex Caruso,
but Pat isn't untouchable anymore, so you should be happy.
He better not fucking be. That would be stupid as shit. No one on this team should be untouchable. I love Io. He shouldn't be. Nobody should be. You're 21 and 24. Yes, we just won in Paris, and it was really fun, and it was great, but we don't lose sight here, and we're not getting sucked back in. This is what it is. This is what it's going to continue to fucking be. I couldn't – again, if you're not going to get good value back from him, I do agree with it. Don't move him. But if you are going to get good value back from him,
if you're gutting the team and somebody offers you James Wiseman and you no longer have Vucevic, you have the opportunity of securing your center.
And I would even go a step further and say not even be stingy because I'm trading everybody else. So I'm gonna kind of hold it up for Caruso because of things that he does. Like, get the fuck out of here, coach. What are you talking about?
Hey, Caruso might be more of a coach than Billy Donovan on this team.
You know what? Okay, I don't see Caruso with 2 national championships. All right, I'm sorry. All right, okay. So
maybe
that's stop the fucking Billy.
You know what? I hope we're still doing this show 20 years from now, and Alex Caruso wins 3 national championships.
I'm 100% dead in 20 years, no doubt about it. Definitely going out.
Get out of here.
I'll be 51. You know me.
And I know your pops. He's made of steel. You're good.
Well, he's just pickled. That was fucked. Sorry, Dad.
Well, in 3 more games, we're going to be pickled too. So
yeah, no shit. It's fucking wild. But hey, Caruso did have a good stat line for him. Not scoring wise, but 4 steals, 3 assists, 3 boards, 2 blocks. Caruso does the little things that y'all love. No turnovers. He brought the ball up a handful of times.
I forget what the exact defensive metric that was put out the other day that I saw just scrolling through Twitter. You had just a cluster, and then you had Alex Caruso.
Yeah, no shit. He just all
by himself in the far right corner.
He's a fun player. If this little guard thing of Caruso, Dragic, and White can work for a little bit, and they can catch him fire, and then, again, if you just have to mix and match during matchups, that's the thing that I will bitch at Billy about. He didn't play matchups really good when Drummond first got here. He just kept playing him almost like a 2K rotation. It's just automatic. Yeah, right. So now that he's playing some matchups a little bit more, who knows? We'll see what happens. But this game was fun. I think the Paris crowd was really great. I do feel just fucking honestly, I do. I feel terrible for them that they had to watch Detroit play basketball. I mean, no one wants to do that.
Yeah, no. To have selected Detroit, I guess if Cade was available, you have young talent, something exciting to kind of.
And I guess he was available when the schedule was made, right? So like, and that's a fun young team. Cade, Jaden Ivey, even Sadiq Bey. Like, I don't know why they want to move on from him. I think he's a pretty decent player. I think
it's coming up to it's with the young teams. It's always about making the timeline fit perfect, and when you got
he's not old.
He's not old, but having to pay him as much money as he's going to be worth when his contract comes up, when you're going to have to max Cade and probably Ivy, you got to start thinking. Otherwise, you get yourself into the Hawks position where you trade away Cam Reddish for peanuts. You re-sign John Collins, and now you're trying to shop him, but you've paid him too much money for what he actually, brings. Well, what teams would have been willing to pay him to get him for free is different than what they're willing to trade to get him on that high price contract.
Right.
So that's the trap you fall into with restricted free agents is on an open market, their value can be way higher than what it really should be. And you're put in a position where you match that contract or you lose them for free. And then you're stuck with that contract. And then when it comes to trading it doesn't matter how good of a player it is. If they're not an all-star, moving a max style contract isn't the easiest thing.
I got one more thing to ask you, and it's just about this game, and then we can move on and preview the next one or whatever. But what did you think about Dwayne Casey's performance tonight? Would you have grabbed Isaiah Stewart and just told him to get off the fucking court?
No, no, especially since.
Is it because he's trying to tank for Wemby? Is that why you would say no to that?
I mean, but you didn't even see them wave the white flag. You still had Ivy and most of their starters on the floor when Billy put Terry and them in for the last minute.
I feel like Stewart shot him out of the game.
Well,
I mean, that's kind of me. He did take the floor.
Do you want to know what Stewart's nickname is over there? I thought it was pretty good. Beef stew.
That's fun.
Beef stew.
You know what, dude? They brought the Detroit guy because it was a home game for them. Tim Sinclair should have been there to fucking hype that up.
And then they're calling Kobe White Cody White.
I know. I know. Like, bro. And they brought that fucking guy over, and he's just like, "Oh, Detroit basketball." Shut up, dude. What are you so proud about? 2003, Chauncey Billups. I don't give a shit. You always suck.
To be fair, they have won recently.
I know, but we had Jordan. All right.
Fair. Okay.
But could you seriously? Like, they did that for tanking purposes because the
Dwayne Casey thing has always confused me from the coaching standpoint because he won Coach of the Year with the Raptors and then he lost his job.
I know, Chai Sports fan. It was a home game for them. I know, but it shouldn't be because it's in fucking Paris. Okay, it shouldn't be. Ridiculous.
Off topic, way out of left field.
That's fine.
Trade deadline is kind of sneaking up on us here, probably about three and a half weeks away.
Yeah.
If the Knicks, as reported, cannot find a favorable situation to do right by Rose in a trade,
100%. Bring him home.
Do you think they buy him out? Do you think that would be
Is that a rumor?
The buyout, no. The send him to a place that would.
I know the send him to a place that's favorable was a rumor, but I didn't know. Okay.
Rumor. But I'm saying, due to his contract, you're not playing him now. He makes, I believe, like $13 million. I believe next year is a team option.
I'm covering you right now. I need a stat guy.
Technically and expiring. So for the Bulls to make a trade, Caruso is really the only contract that kind of works in terms of matching salary. So the Bulls don't really have a way, maybe a 3-team deal. But otherwise, really not a way for the Bulls straight direct trade with the Knicks. But if the Knicks can't find fair value for that contract and he's not playing there, do you think that would be a conversation that would be had to do right by him in that way?
I love that. But they would have to come to the terms on the buyout themselves because he's not going to get much after falling out of a rotation. From another team. So that buyout's going to have to be pretty significant. I don't know what it would be because this year he's at $14.5 million. And then if they accept the team option, which they're not.
They wouldn't. So no, really you're just dealing with what you got to buy him out for this year.
Yeah. And next year's $15.5 million. So it's $1 million pay jump for him next year, which in the grand scheme of NBA things isn't a lot of money, but I'd love, listen, especially this season when we don't really have a true idea. I mean, we're so fucking guard heavy. It's annoying. But listen,
If you could swap Rose and Dragic, you do that?
I'd swap Rose and any fucking guard on this team outside of Caruso and DeSumo. And that goes for Kobe White too. Yeah, I'd swap any of those out for Derrick Rose. If I thought we were going to win a championship, I would not. I don't think we're gonna, and I'd love to go watch D Rose in a number 1 Chicago Bulls uniform one more time. I'd absolutely love it.
I mean, just seeing D Rose and DeRozan on the floor together would give me chills,
I think that would, I mean, the shooting would be ass. But I mean, like fucking, yeah, that'd be great. Like, listen, I love Derrick Rose. I always thought he might come back. It's getting to be about that time. He's been in the league for 12 to 13 years now.
But it is scary if Rose can't crack a rotation on Tom Thibodeau's team. Is that maybe the time is done?
Well, yeah, but that's also because, I mean, you got to look at the Knicks too and how guard heavy they are, and especially young guns. They got a couple young guns over there.
Yeah, I guess Fournier isn't really playing for them much either.
Fournier's not playing either. So, I mean, it just started to work for them that way.
No,
and
it's crazy. The Knicks have about $30 million in rotational player salary just sitting on the bench.
Yeah, if they weren't fucking stupid, they could do something with that money to really complement the players that they have now, like Barrett and Randall. I mean, they could really put some more talent around that, maybe even booster the bench a little bit, maybe get another piece in the starting lineup that'll help you a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of different things that they could do. I mean, Brunson, Barrett, and Randall they do play fun basketball as much as I hate New York. They do play fun basketball, but that team could be so much better if they didn't fucking put that money in stupid spots, but no, I would love that. I love Derrick Rose, man. The Bulls were shit. They were shit. And when he came in and did what he did, I mean, change the culture here. It'd be great to have him back, but I wouldn't bring him back in a sense of like, oh, you're going to be a key member of this championship level. I would love to get him.
No, I think
but he's not that guy
anymore. He'd be getting Dragic minutes, or maybe
right.
With Kobe making that $7-8 million, there might be a way to. I don't know if you could swap Kobe and some salary filler.
I do it right now. I would do it.
Reddish and Rose. If you could get Reddish and Rose for,
I would have to fuck around with the trade machine to see how it would go. But yeah, I'd absolutely do that in a heartbeat. Especially with Cam Reddish. His value's never fucking been lower.
Well, no, his value has never been lower, but the 3 teams reportedly interested in him are, I believe, the Lakers, the Mavs, and the Grizzlies.
Yeah, all fucking teams that are trying to compete.
Yep, and they know what they got there on a cheap last year of the rookie contract. I don't want to see Reddish go to one of those teams.
Neither do I. I wanted Reddish here. I wanted Reddish in the first place. I mean, I watched him.
That video of me and screaming "fuck" when we dropped Kobe because I wanted Reddish, but yeah. So no, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of rumors with the Knicks, so it might be interesting to see what either of our teams look like after the trade deadline.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait to do our trade deadline show. That's always fun. So I can't wait for that. I just can't wait in general because it's like the most exciting trade deadline in all of sports. So I can't wait in general. But Monday is the next time the Bulls play. That's January 23rd, and they play at 7 p.m. against the Atlanta Hawks.
Lollipop with hair.
I fucking hate Trae Young, man. God, I hate him. I don't even like watching him. I don't.
Did you know who Ben Steiner is on Twitter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. His Trae Young takes, man, I can't anymore. The other night he called Luca and Trae the modern bird and magic, and I was just like, this man cannot get away with this anymore. Stop it!
The modern bird and magic is what he said. I'm gonna hit I will fucking hit the unfollow button right now.
I mean, in the Luca sense,
Luca is light years ahead of Trae Young.
I will ride with it, but the Luca trade debacle needs to die. The Mavs fleeced the shit out of Atlanta, especially because Atlanta didn't end up keeping Reddish, which was their extra incentive in making that trade for trading back. So no, please don't ever compare Trae Young to Magic Johnson. I don't. Please no.
That's fucking stupid. I lost IQ points with that.
I did. I read it and I was like, I'm dumber now.
I am dumber now. Great. Just fucking great, Ben.
As if I needed any help.
Yeah, no shit, right? No shit. Me too. Me too. You got anything else, man, before we get out of here? We did a 45-minute episode on the Paris game and then trade deadline and Derrick Rose talk. It's fantastic.
No, just don't let Trae Young embarrass you. I would rather drink pickle juice than lose to Trae Young. So
you know what, dude?
Let's keep the
I would
streak
rather
going.
I'd rather drink pickle juice than lose to Trae Young. Dude, he's my most disliked player in the league. It's not particularly close.
Even over Kyrie?
Ooh, I fucking hate Kyrie too. Yeah, no, I still Trae Young. I don't.
Trae Young? Okay.
Yeah, still Trae Young. I mean, I just think Kyrie's overrated more than
I don't know why, but Trae Young probably is like my least favorite athlete in all of
any sport besides Aaron Rodgers. It's like Aaron Rodgers and Trae Young
and Grayson Allen, but he's not like a good enough player.
He's not an
harbor.
Athlete.
Yeah, he's not a good enough player for me to harbor like real hatred. It's just that guy's a scumbag. He probably doesn't deserve a job in this league.
Yeah, and he looks like a dick with his gray hair.
Oh, the touch of gray posts. Yeah. After every time he does something, it's killed because I'm like, I got a little salt and pepper in here, and the receding hairline sucks. But the touch.
I gotta read it. Hank put in the comment section. This is why you need to join us live if you're listening to this in podcast form. We're talking about Trae Young's hair, and Trae has the same hairstyle as my left nut. That's fantastic. I'm dying.
No, but we gotta stop now because there's a visual, and this is once again gone too far. We've done this 3 shows in a row now.
Do we got to get out of here?
We gotta get out. I can't. No.
All right, everybody, be sure to go on OnTapSportsNet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap and on Tap Sportsnet. Following Goose at Bulls Scripted, me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us. 5-star rating and review because that's cool and tough. Go over to YouTube on Tap Sportsnet. Subscribe. Hop in the comment section with all of our friends. It's always a good time. We'll be back Monday after the Bulls take on the Atlanta Hawks at 7 o'clock. Let's go Bulls.